One of Donald Trump's biggest attacks on Joe Biden, the one he thinks that's really sticking with the public, that's resonating well and taking down Biden, is the fact that Joe Biden was basically the guy in charge here in the United States demanding that Ukraine fire their prosecutor, Shokin, because he wasn't doing his job. But according to Trump, he wanted him fired because he was allegedly investigating his son, which is not actually what happened. Yesterday, a resurfaced letter from the year 2016 emerged showing that, Joe Biden wasn't the only one asking for this prosecutor to be fired. Now, we already knew that other countries had asked for the prosecutor to be fired. The UN had chimed in and said, you got to get rid of this guy, not prosecuting corruption. He is corrupt himself. And then a letter in 2016, signed by Republican Senators Rob Portman, Mark Kirk, and Ron Johnson, called for removal of this prosecutor. Democrats also signed it. Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, Jeanne Shaheen, Chris Murphy, Sherrod Brown, Richard Blumenthal, all signed on to this letter. Sent it over to Ukraine. Prosecutor was fired roughly a month later. But this blows up that entire argument from Donald Trump that Biden was doing this to protect his son. You had Republicans in the Senate, and Ron Johnson, by the way, has come out and said, I don't remember signing that letter. I don't remember that. Okay, well, it happened. Your name's on it. Your signature's there. You may not remember it, but it happened. And if you can't remember it, then that's probably a good sign you shouldn't be serving in the federal government anymore because your mind's slipping a bit. This is hard evidence. Republicans were with the Democrats on this particular issue. So, what now? Now we know this is bunk. Well, unfortunately, the conservative media isn't going to talk about this letter. They're not going to give it the coverage that it deserves, and they're not going to mention the fact that no, Joe Biden did not do this to protect his son. Now, that still doesn't answer the question or address the issue of whether or not Biden engaged in any quid pro quo. I'm going to withhold your aid unless you fire the prosecutor. That could still be an issue for Biden. And let's be honest, that's not a good thing to do anyway. The aid had been passed. I mean, essentially, Joe Biden did to a lesser extent what Donald Trump has been accused of doing, which I have discussed earlier. I don't think what Biden did was technically illegal. Maybe it was, and if it was, hell yeah, investigate, prosecute, do whatever you need to do. I 100% think what Donald Trump did was illegal. We have text messages to prove it. But now we also have an email or a letter from 2016 that proves that Joe Biden was not alone in calling for the removal of this prosecutor. It's probably not going to stop Trump from using this talking point, but anytime anybody sees it, you need to throw this letter back in their face and remind them that there was pretty much global unity calling for this prosecutor to be removed, and that is not a scandal. That is not illegal. This prosecutor was corrupt as hell and wasn't prosecuting corruption because he was part of it. That's the part Republicans still seem to have trouble getting into their skulls. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.